This has not started off as the green week we were discussing, the green week we talked about potentially happening. And the reason why that's the case is this trade war between the US and China just continues to get louder and louder, and it's drowning out all the good things that are taking place. And that sucks, right? Because right now we could be making some headway. And in fact, over the last 24 hours, there's a couple things that have escalated that we do need to have a discussion about. But we do need to talk about something taking place today at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time that could spur some volatility in the market, as well as a major shift by an institutional player that last time led to a crypto market pump. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. Obviously, ADA right now, at the time of filming this video, 6:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, it's about 60 and a half cents. And where ADA is sitting at right now is actually a historic bounce zone, which is a great sign. You know, when we look at our weekly charts, you guys can see ADA sitting right on top of that 100-week moving average. This would be a great spot for ADA to bounce. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It has bounced off of this support before, so we'll see if that's the case. But, you know, we're obviously dealing with BTC trying to hold some resilience up in these ranges as well. You guys can see it had a nice bounce overnight off of this 20-day moving average. So it's sticking around. But the problem is when there's all this loud noise going on in the space, it tends to make retail capitulate. We have gotten into a couple long liquidation levels, which move price down as well. But frankly, the thing that is just continuing to bombard the crypto market is just this loud noise surrounding the US and China. Now, guys, they have both publicly said that they're open to discussions, but they have not done this yet. There have not been ongoing discussions. They have not been scaling anything back. In fact, both sides have been continuing to posture and press forward. The US banned the export of H20 chips from NVIDIA to China, which is actually a pretty big blow to NVIDIA themselves. I think that accounted for like 19% of their sales in Q1. China banned US mail passing through China. They banned the exports of Boeing planes to the US. There's now a 245% tariff on China from the US. So it just continues to go back and forth. And the reason this sucks so much is because there is actually real progress being made. All right. For example, today, Japan coming to the US to discuss trade deals. All right. And Donald Trump himself is going to be there having those discussions. India has done the same thing. The EU has done the same thing. So the problem is all this good stuff that's actually taking place is just getting drowned out by this just puffing of the chest of both sides. And I guess the good news is that when this eventually does end, if it eventually ends, it'll probably be very good for the crypto market. But that's why we're seeing a lot of this capitulation, a lot of this red in the space. Now, what I will say is that we are, in fact, going to see something today that could cause some volatility in the markets. And this is taking place at 11:30 a.m. And this is Jerome Powell. And if you guys aren't familiar with Jerome Powell, he loves the words, we see sticky inflation, we see inflation increasing, and it's just causing just more of this uncertainty in the crypto market, despite the fact that, you know, when we look at trueflation data, which is one of the more accurate gauges of what inflation is looking like as of late, inflation is actually quite low. And this is despite tariffs being a thing for a while. It's despite people freaking out and racing to buy stuff. I mean, it hasn't really been the case. Okay. So there's a lot of disconnect going on right now between the government and the people, between countries around the world. I mean, it's frankly a shit show. Okay. That's the best way to describe it. Now, that being said, where crypto stands, the problem is a lot of people think that, oh yeah, this is the reason that crypto's dumping. It's because of all this crap. And it more so has to do with sentiment and retail uncertainty. And frankly, that's the biggest thing I'm going to point to. And the reason why is what we're actually seeing right now are some massive signs for the crypto markets that times really aren't that bad. And I want to show you guys this because what we actually saw over the last 2 days was Blackrock accumulating. And why I'm mentioning this is it's been a while since Blackrock actually bought in back-to-back days. The last time was actually at the middle of March. Now, why this is in fact so important is when BlackRock tends to make these shifts, the crypto market tends to pump. In fact, these 2 days led to a rally from BTC at about 84K all the way to 88K. as the week went on. They continued to buy and buy and buy. Because the thing that people need to remember is that when there's a lot of this fear and uncertainty in the crypto market, the large players are in fact accumulating. All right. We've seen this many times before. It's not an uncommon thing because retail is the main one that is in fact capitulating. In fact, institutional money as a whole yesterday, $76.42 million worth of inflows. Again, this is the first green day we have actually seen since April 1st. And this could mark a major shift for institutional players. Now, what we might in fact be doing is getting back to a time where the market's just chopping and riding the wave up and down while we're kind of biding our time until, all this loud noise just calms down in the space. That's kind of where we're stuck right now. What that could mean is that, we're mid wave right now. We're in the valley, right? And then we kind of rebound back to these levels and blah, 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 just one of those boring ongoing mutts that seems to drag on forever. And I think what people need to remember, I have a lot of people that try to comment and attack me and say that this stuff isn't important. It's incredibly important. You need to be aware of what's going on in the crypto market because this is, again, where we see some opportunity. It's where we see some short-term trading opportunities. I mean, whatever, pick your poison, right? If you want discounts for the long haul, great, we're getting them. If you want to make some short-term profits, perfect. We're getting this chop and a great time to do all this. But understand that things are not as bad as people are portraying them to be. No, the bull market cycle's not over, not even close. Again, none of the 30 indicators are indicating that the top is in. So biggest thing we got to remember is just we have to be patient. Retail can only capitulate for so long. I've seen a lot of people get to this point where they're like, yeah, we're probably going to drop further, but I'm not selling. That's actually not a great spot. Or I'm sorry, that is a great spot mentality wise to be in, because if you're unwilling to unload, we can get to a point where so many people, or we kind of are at that point actually, where so many people are just unwilling to unload that it's very difficult to move the price lower. And if you guys haven't noticed, we've kind of seen a little bit of a pivot in the crypto market. It's because so many people have accumulated on these dips, these discounts. This wasn't even a lower low in terms of ADA. ADA is one of the few assets that actually did that, confirmed a little bit higher of a low. I mean, when this stuff does start to quiet down and we start to get more good macro data and we continue to accelerate towards interest rate decreases, these are going to be things that do spark some excitement into the markets. The loud noise will quiet down once again, and once again, we will get on a nice rally in the markets. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.